And welcome back to the channel. This is Thomas Goes Nostalgic, and on this episode, we're looking at the Super7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Scratch and Sewer Surfing Mike. So I have a few Super7 figures already, but nothing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that's because I'm so deep in the NECA line, but certain figures come out where I feel like I had to get it. So this Scratch, very excited for, and then Sewer Surfing Mike, I feel as long as I can remember having toys, I had that toy. So that one brought back a lot of nostalgic feelings. But overall, I always love Super7's packaging. They have this really nice slipcover. Each character gets their own individual logo, and then the Turtles logo on the back. And just pulling off these slipcovers, it always reveals the really nice figure inside and tons of accessories. So it's always very satisfying, I feel like, with the Super7 figures once you slip them out of the packaging. But this already looks great. Can't wait to get Scratch open. And getting the slipcover off of Sewer Surfin Mike, he looks awesome. Just like the original figure with so much extra added deco. And I love all the original accessories and some extras. So great updates. Can't wait to get these out. But let's take a look at some of the box art. I love that Super7 actually puts some cool detail into their boxes. So you have the brickwork and the graffiti on the sides, which I think is pretty cool. And then on the back, I always kind of complain about NECA not doing this, but they have an actual bio for the character, so you know a little bit about them. So Scratch was never in the Fred Wolf cartoon, so you really didn't know much about his backstory. I didn't know if he was a bad guy, but guessing that there's the foot logo there, I'm assuming he is. And then Mikey has the Turtles logo right there. So pretty cool. Like the packaging, but it's just time to get these out of the package and check them out. And it took me a really long time to get everything out of the package, but these really came with a lot. So between Sewer Surfin Mike, he comes with all his original accessories plus ones that have new deco, and I really don't have a comparison in mind for Scratch, but Scratch comes with his original accessories and some updated ones as well. So that's really Super7's niche, I guess. They take the old Playmates figures and just kind of spruce them up a bit, which I think is cool. But I think the line came out a little bit after I was already kind of deep into the NECA line. But still excited for these. I think there's characters you can fudge in your NECA display if you wanted to. So let's get a closer look and look at each one by one. First up, we have Sewer Surfin Mike. Now, like I said before, this is a figure that I had when I was a kid. I wish I had it on hand so I can compare and contrast, but I do notice some key differences off the bat. It still captures that same look, but you get so many extras with this. So just looking from a design perspective, it looks great. This is my first Super7 turtle, but I think he looks really cool. That wetsuit, I think for me, always made me want to play with it because of the colors. The colors just always really stood out. But looking at the design, I love the face. The face almost looks a little TMNT 2003 to me, but I like it. And then I love the little sharks on his shoulder and arm. I think I noticed them as a kid, but they weren't really painted, so they didn't have much detail. He has that cool logo on the front, and then all those things that were sculpted into the original figure now have their own details, which is really cool. The seaweed around the neck, the little crab on his wrist. I think that eel, if I recall, I think it was just painted green or the color of the wetsuit. Love the deco on the watch. That's really cool. So the only thing that's a little solid that I feel like maybe would have been cool with some deco is the belt, but you even got that little squid on his flipper that's painted. So maybe they just wanted to keep the original look of the figure, but looking at the back, those seashells, and they even painted the zipper on the wetsuit. That's cool. And you can even see it's like kind of open at the top. So a little cool detail there. So definitely loving the look of this figure. Articulation on these, his joints aren't too tight. Not that they're super loose where he's like falling over, but he does have some things that limit him a bit. So the shark on his shoulder doesn't allow you to get that arm up too high. But their legs, joints, like I said, they're a little loose, but they're manageable. They're not terrible. So I think these are pretty good. If you want to get him in some swimming poses, he has some nice movement at the ankles there. But didn't have to heat up anything out of the box, so that's always nice. And taking a look at some of the extras, you get a teeth gritting smile, pretty cool. You get these closed fist, set of open hands, set of grippy hands, and you get these really cool sunglasses that they don't fit onto his head all too well. So I don't know if you want to glue them on, you can. I'm just gonna kind of leave them there. I don't want to glue my figure, but they do look cool, and I believe the original figure just had those sculpted on, so that's a nice option to have if you really want to go for that complete old school look. And if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you know what these weapon trays are. I think this is really cool. I'm just going to keep this one intact just because I love the way it looks. This is when all the accessories, everything that came in the package was just one solid color, but it also comes with the same versions, just painted. It's that cool crab. These didn't have any deco on it, but they're just cool because I remember having these. These little pucks, probably really easy to lose, not sure what they are. The nunchucks are really cool. They have great deco, the metal chain, the brown handles, and then the green seaweed. So I'll show in a second. Those seaweed nunchucks were really hard to get onto his hands. This surfboard is, this is the main accessory that goes with this figure. You can't give us this figure without giving us this completely wacky 80s/90s surfboard. The design was awesome. So I did put those nunchucks in the hands before putting them on. I feel like that was easier, but you can get them on. You just kind of got to work them in a little bit. So just having them posed with those nunchucks, really cool, tongue out. That's the face I'm going to keep on him. But I really want to display him with that surfboard. I think he looks so cool. I think he is definitely hitting the mark of the original figure, which is the reason why I wanted this. So I'm going to have to prevent myself from buying some of the others that do the same. And here we have Scratch the Cat. If you are a classic TMNT Playmates collector, you know that probably there's 4 or 5 figures that are in the thousands of dollars, mint on card or even loose, and this is one of them. So if Super7 was to make a hotspot, I would definitely get that. I think if they would make half court, I would get that as well. So some of these random animal characters we started getting in the line, I will definitely be getting. So he kind of compares to Rat King a little bit from the NECA line, but just going over design, he looks really cool, and I've only seen pictures of the Playmates figure in hand, which makes this figure so good because a lot of us that will never be able to afford that original Playmates figure, this one is awesome. He comes with this it looks like a lint brush necklace, which is really cool. I have him holding that chain, so it's not all flopping around. It does come off if you wanted to take the key ring out, but I didn't want to do that. I love all the tattered look on his outfit. His prison jumpsuit looks really cool. Got his fur popping through the back. And then he does have a ball joint for his tail. So this was a little tricky getting on. You probably could heat it up if you wanted to, but I just took my time and was able to get that in without heating it up. So just do it nice and carefully and you shouldn't have any problems. Going over some of the articulation, his head has some nice movement. These are just on ball joints. There's no hinge at the top of the head. Some ab crunch, not much. I think you can get his arms up a lot better than you could Surfin Mikey, and they all have a bicep swivel. They have single jointed elbows, I believe, and you can see the ball joint in his leg there. And then his feet are pretty cool to pose because he has one foot that's a boot, and then he has one foot that's just his actual open claw. And that was something really big with the original TMNT figures. They never made one limb the same, so there was always a contrast between left and right arm and legs. He comes with that same colored weapons tray, so this is my first time ever seeing this in person or any rendition of this, so pretty cool. I have no context from childhood, but he comes with an alternative hat with his eyes to the side, kind of giving that shifty look. Pretty cool. He comes with some open clawed hands, nice paint detail on the nails, and he comes with some grippy hands, fisted hands, and then he comes with his little painted jailbird. I'm assuming that's his name, but these always used to come as a slug, just one color figure. I used to call them the buddies. So like that, he's painted all cool. This money bag is pretty sweet. Looks like it was clawed open by Scratch, has that gold paint on the coins. And then he has a cake gun. I don't know the reference to why, but it's just a cool accessory. It's a cake gun, so who knew you needed that? He comes with this dead fish. Looks like he was eating it a little bit. You can see the bone, a hammer, and then he comes with a accessory-sized lint brush, which I think is a pretty awesome accessory for a cat. So he looks really great Love that it comes with the buddy figure as just like a little accessory as an add-on, but he has some great paint on him as well. So I'm liking these Super 7 figures, and he is probably comparable in size. I showed Rat King before. Mutagen Man is a little bit bigger than him. So if you still want to put him in your NECA display, I think these random characters that we'll never get will fit. So as my first 2 TMNT Super 7 figures, I really do love this line. I'm enjoying it from afar with friends that get them. I only have one other TMNT figure that I have coming. That's the Undercover Raphael my cousin got for me. So I'll be reviewing that soon. But if you wanted to fit any of these characters in your NECA display, like I said, you can go ahead and do that. We're never going to get some of these Fred Wolf characters there, so you might as well. And that does it for this episode, folks. If you like this content, hit like, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you get notifications of when I post my next episode. Until then, we'll catch you next time.